Hello, everybody. Welcome to our new podcast from Miela. We are an advertising agency, and we wanted to share our experience with you to see if you can get some helpful insights from our very talented team. Um, Today we have Sandra. She is the influencer manager from Europe.
Hello.
She it is a pleasure to have you here. Sandra is very talented since she arrived to the company. She's having a lot of success in the campaigns that she's managing. So we thought it would be a good idea to share her knowledge and her experience with both brands willing to work with influencers as well as with influencers willing to work with brands. She started not so long ago with us. However, she has an influencer career before starting the company. So we are going to be speaking about both her time with us in with Miela and her live streaming and the content creation. So, Sandra, welcome.
Yes.
Can you give us a little bit
Welcome.
of an introduction about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I've been a streamer for 4 years and an influencer manager for 4 months. So yeah, as a streamer, I can say that I already have some experience, and I think it can definitely help for an influencer manager job as well, because I already have some insights. I've already had like several campaigns myself as a streamer and influencer, and this can definitely help me because I know how to talk with the streamers. I know what details might be important for them, so I think it definitely helps, and I'm really happy to do this job as well besides streaming.
Awesome. Yeah. Also, like you mentioned, I think there are not so many jobs available that you can do after like continuing with your influencer career. Like it's a difficult mix, like to be an influencer and try to capitalize on it if you want to continue on the industry. Um, so first of all, like from the beginning, um, we will be separating the episodes in different topics. So the topic for this one will be influencer management because we know you're very good at it. So the first question before you start like being a manager, when you were a streamer, did you do any campaigns that you remember that were successful, or did you see any like brand or media manager that was doing a good job? Like, how did you felt as a streamer with them, or some good experiences or bad experiences, good campaigns, bad campaigns?
Well, I think I don't know if I can necessarily mention some specific agency or, but what it definitely helps, I think, when you collaborate with an agency that has experience with the gaming campaigns, because I also worked with people that were not so professional, and there was definitely some lack in communication. Maybe there weren't very specific details of the campaign or support throughout the campaign. I didn't know exactly when it will be finished, when I will get paid, and things like that. But if you collaborate with an agency, it's a much better experience. I think this is the most important thing when you have support and communication. I think this is the most important, and I'm not sure, I've had like bad experiences, like I was not paid for some work that I did, but again, that was when I collaborated with people, not really with an agency. Or so it can definitely happen, and as a streamer you should be really careful with what you sign, because there are also people that might want to trick you. There are fake campaigns sometimes, so you really need to be careful with what you receive on email, what you sign. Really need to do some research about that agency, that campaign, that company, before signing or doing any work. So
Awesome.
yeah.
And when yeah, I think what you mentioned is true. I think also there is some. I will usually maybe this is a good conversation because you were a streamer, and also on my side I work mostly with brands. So for me, like having the brand perspective is I think also comes down to expectations. Like I don't know if if the agencies that you had or the campaigns that you had, they were clear about like what you wanted or what they wanted you to achieve. I feel sometimes like campaigns, they are not so clear, like you say, like maybe you need to do like this content, but they don't really tell you what you need to achieve, like if you need to interact with your community, or if you need to make people to buy the product, or if you need to get some reach. So like thinking in a
Yeah.
not so bad way about them. So sometimes they think the campaign with the influencer doesn't work, but not necessarily because the influencer is bad, but maybe because they didn't explain properly. I don't know if you feel that way.
Yes, that is true, but I don't know from their perspective, for example, if they were pleased with my work and with my campaign and achievements. Usually, you don't really receive feedback. I think the only feedback most of the time is if they want to renew or if they contact you in the future for another campaign. So you think, yes, I think I did well, and that's why they want to work again with me. But I think feedback can help because as a streamer you want to do a good work and a successful campaign in order to have more campaigns in the future. And yes, there is also this problem of communication or specific goals or targets that you might need to reach. Usually you receive a brief that it's not really so specific. You might, I don't know, you might have to stream a game and mention some things, but those are only suggestions, and that's it. It definitely might be more helpful to receive more clear instructions, maybe, and what the company really wants to achieve from this campaign. So yeah, I think I had this problem before.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned a good point with the risk, because there is like, I wouldn't say controversy, but there is different opinions regarding that. Some brands, they prefer to have a like a very detailed structured brief for influencers to follow, and others prefer like a less or more flexible brief so the influencers can create their own content and like make whatever they think is best for their community. Which approach you think is better for both the brands to get the results and both the influencer to work?
I think you should have a more flexible brief in the sense that you let the streamer be creative and make the campaign in a way that resonates with his community as well. Because if you are too strict or rigid, it might not work for his community and it will feel um, not fake necessarily, but people will feel like, okay, that is just a campaign. He's being paid for it. He doesn't really care about our experience. And I think as a streamer, you also need to feel like this campaign engages with your community and make them enjoy it as well. So I think you might, I don't know, it might be more helpful to have a strict goal, like the streamer knows he has to achieve some specific things, but the way in which he achieves that should be more flexible. I hope it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And also I think like from a creator perspective, it's important to have like this business mentality where yes, if I get a campaign maybe I get paid, but on the other hand, if I get a bad campaign or a bad product, it may hurt my community, and in the long run maybe it will cost me more money because the community will trust me less, or maybe I will lose some viewership, or I don't know, maybe the product was not good quality, or I don't know if you work like with different industries more risky, for example with crypto or gambling, there can even be some scams for your community. So how do you measure that risk, or what do you recommend to streamers like when they choose or when they get offered campaigns that maybe doesn't fit their content or doesn't fit their audience so well?
Yeah, I think it's really important again to do your research first. I mean, to see if the company and the campaign is legit. So it's not something fake or because definitely if you if your community feels like it is being tricked, it will be bad. And also what is important is to stay true to your values. As a streamer, it's very important to create a truthful relationship with your community. If you say every day that, I don't know, it's just an example, but I'm not drinking sodas, I think they are really bad, they have a lot of sugar, and then after 2 weeks you are doing a campaign with a very big brand for a soda, your community might feel like you just care about money and you're not really an honest person, and they might stop watching you and supporting you. So yes, as a creator, you definitely want to, especially if you want to live by doing this job. Uh, you want to make money, but it's also important to be an honest person and to create this relationship with your community where they can feel like they can trust you, they can take your opinion into consideration, and all of that.
Awesome. So let's say right now I'm just started streaming, or I'm a small streamer or influencer or whatever, and I want to monetize my channel, hopefully live from streaming. Like, what do you suggest? Like, when it comes to getting brands or getting campaigns, what do you think a new streamer should do, like, in order to being able to monetize their content?
I feel it's important to stay away from controversy. Like, don't say bad words or things that might be against the TOS. Brands don't want to associate with shady individuals, or I don't know how to call them, but you might want to stay away from that. You need to be friendly, you need to be open to communicate. I think this is the most important thing, because there are already so many creators that are playing games, so people will most likely watch you. I mean, if you're not a pro player in some specific game, they will watch you because they enjoy your presence and your personality and your opinion on different things. So you should focus on that, and less on the game that you stream necessarily. At least from my experience, and in my country, most streamers are being watched because they engage with their community and their community likes them as a person, not because they stream that game or their content is, I don't, I hope it makes sense. That's what I would suggest.
Yeah, but there's also, I think, this situation that sometimes controversy or like being a little edgy can get you more viewers, or maybe you can grow faster, or some people use like this as a shortcut. Um, you know what I mean? Like some videos that are controversy, they usually get very popular. What's your take on that?
Yeah.
Is that something that can work in your from your eyes? Like from a business perspective, is there something you can do to monetize that, or you prefer to go the traditional way?
Yeah, I think drama definitely gains more views, and in a shorter time. But it depends what kind of creator you want to be. You can just take the longest route, and I think it's safest to do that in this way. I think that brands don't want to associate with drama in general. So it might gain you more viewers, but I don't know if it will gain you more campaigns or sponsorships in general. That depends a lot on the company as well. But I think most of them would not risk it. It depends on the kind of drama, obviously, but I wouldn't personally recommend it. I'm not a fan of it. So
Yeah, also I think it depends on the industry. For example, I don't know if we talk about like traditional brands like, I don't know, Coca-Cola or McDonald's. Yeah, I would say maybe they don't want to associate with you, but if you say crypto or gambling, personally from my experience, most of them they don't really mind. Um, so also there is this differentiation of adult content from like uh content from every audience. I know um this is controversial, and that's why it's important we're talking about it, but the truth is like usually adult content gets viewership very quickly. So there is a trade-off that, yes, I don't know if you like do some dancing videos or some I won't say like adult content, but like edgy content, you lose a lot of campaigns that may have worked with you in the past, but they don't do anymore. But there is also room for monetization. Which one? I mean, I'm not sure if there is a better or worse strategy, but my point is that do you think it has to do with the influencer or what he feels comfortable with, or do you think there is some way that can be done better than the other? Like one best than another one, or it depends on the profile of the streamer or the content creator?
No, I think it comes down to the preference because some people might not mind doing mm, edgy content or something that is a bit controversial because they gain views, they gain money, so they don't really mind. But there are also people that criticize it. So you, I think you need to think also about the consequences because maybe you start doing that controversial content at first to gain viewers, but then you realize that you can collaborate with some streamers, you can be a part of some specific communities, you can have some campaigns with from some brands due to that. So it I think it's really important how you start because what you put out on the internet will forever be there and there will be forever people that are going to remember it. Of course, the internet also forgets after some time, but I think it's more important to feel comfortable and to be aware of what it means to do some specific content on the internet. I mean, even just playing a game, even just streaming your face, your voice, you need to be aware that it will be there for people to see, especially if you are doing it live. And you just need to be prepared for that and to stay truthful to your values and to your preferences.
Good, awesome. On the other hand, let's say if you're a streamer, like doesn't matter which content you make, and you want to make more brands, what do you think like it can be good for them from a an advertising perspective? Like how can, if I'm a brand, because what happens to me is like when I work with a brand and they want me to look for a profile, we need this influencer with this profile. I have literally thousands of alternatives. So as a streamer, what can I do to be like more visible or easier to get approached by brands? What do you recommend for that?
I think uh, when people enter your stream description, for example, on Twitch, you should add a business email. This makes it very clear that you are looking for opportunities, for campaigns, for sponsorships. So I really recommend putting it something somewhere where is it visible. And you can also put some information like your age, your country, because this is also important in some campaigns, the region where do you live, and so on. And some way of contacting you in a more professional way because yes, you can contact them on Instagram, but I think it's way clearer and easier if you have a business email just for uh, business opportunities. and what is important is to when you do have a campaign to try to make it good, to have good results, to be engaging, and because other brands or agencies might see that you had really good sponsorships already, and this might be a factor uh, that they will take into consideration when they decide whether to contact you or not for their campaign.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that you made a great point there, and I totally agree with you. I will suggest also to the new streamers that maybe don't get the better deal, but they still get some campaigns because if you are doing a campaign as a brand, you want to work with people that already work with brands before. And of course, the first one, the deal may not be very good, but you need to start getting some portfolio. It's like getting a CV. It's like your first job. Definitely, like having a sponsorship before is very helpful. Um, what else do you think they can do to have success? Like, are there other ways besides sponsorships or campaigns that they can monetize their content? Any suggestions that you have?
I think there are some sites where you can apply, and they will have sometimes campaigns that you can apply to, and they accept. And but I don't know. It really depends on the region. I'm from Romania, and in Romania there are not a lot of sites. There is one that I used recently for. It shows once in 30 or 60 minutes an ad on my stream, and you get paid per views. But it really you might need to, I mean, every streamer needs to search maybe in their specific region if it's available, because as I said, in some countries there are not many, but this is a way. Usually when you start getting numbers, agencies or companies will start contacting you personally, but you can start this way.
Awesome. And this is talking about live streaming, like Twitch mostly or YouTube. Is there any way that you can monetize maybe your other social media platforms like Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or whatever you're using in your region? Is there any suggestion you have for them, for their other platforms?
I mean, on YouTube, if you gain numbers, yes, you can monetize your content with ads, because it will start paying you for ads that are shown on your videos. But it's a bit hard to get there. You need pretty good numbers for that. But if you work towards it, it is achievable. Um, I don't know. Also, yeah, TikTok is very is a very important app right now. If I uh, sorry, both for exposure and both for just TikTok exclusive content. I think brands really look at the numbers from TikTok because there are a lot of people there, and I think it's more used than TikTok, Instagram Reels, for example, or YouTube Shorts. I think TikToks are way more popular, at least in my country, and brands really look into that. And it really helps if you make short TikToks in order to promote your longer videos from YouTube or your streams even. I think it really helps with exposure, and in the long term also with campaigns and monetization.
Yeah, and also like you say, sometimes you can use the very own content. You just recycle it. Maybe you can do some edition. You don't need to do it twice. Or maybe you can do a live streaming and then from the live streaming get a good clip and then put it on Instagram or TikTok. Usually does the job, I think. It's a good. The only problem you may need some edition. You can do it yourself or you can pay someone. But besides that, I don't think that's too complex. Um, so yeah, I don't know. We are getting into the end of the interview. I don't know if you have any suggestions like from your personal perspective to influencers that may want to start streaming, any advice from you maybe from your career, any advice from you like as an influencer manager when you look for streamers, the maybe the streamers that they do well in campaigns, what do you see that they do that maybe the others don't, do you see a pattern there, how can they improve to have better campaigns and at the end of the day get more money to live off what they love?
Yes, what I think is important is to be polite and to have a good communication with the brand and with the influencer manager. This definitely helps, and it makes it easier, and to be open for feedback and suggestions, because sometimes I try to talk to them and see what it works, what it doesn't work, what we can do about it, how we can make it better. And if someone is doing really well, I try and see what works. And this usually means, I mean, streamers that are doing good in campaigns are the ones that are really interested in the campaign itself, and they try to incorporate it in their usual content and also give something to their community. You can have some kind of incentives even if that specific campaign doesn't include that incentives. You can add it, and they don't have to be uh, mm, I don't know, expensive. There can be cheap incentives like some specific role on your Discord channel, or channel points, or you can do a special stream if you achieve a specific goal in the campaign. And this makes your community more likely to engage and participate and help you gain those goals in the campaign.
Yeah, and also from my side, I think it's important to think long term. I think sometimes influencers they think very short term when it comes to campaign. Like maybe they want to get a good deal, or maybe they just finish the campaign and that's it. But even when if you work with agencies, probably these agencies, if they are good, they are working with a lot of brands. So if you have a bad experience with them, probably you lose a ton of other alternatives that can could have worked for you. And also if you work or if it's a single brand, then maybe you get a good first campaign or good payout first, but for the next one you're out. So how do you recommend to balance like the short-term rewards against the long-term rewards? Maybe building a relationship, like you say, with the influencer manager, so he can recommend or she can recommend you to other campaigns. Do you have any advice on that?
Yes, I think networking is definitely important. That's why you need to be open and sociable and try to discuss and be polite. And because, yeah, brands definitely sometimes communicate between them or agencies. And uh, if you do badly or if you damage the reputation of an agency or of a brand, you might ruin your potential chances of gaining another campaigns in the future, even from different brands. So you should really be serious when it comes to a campaign, because I feel like some streamers don't really take them seriously. But I don't have a specific advice because this depends on every streamer. So
Awesome. We have a question from the chat. Fran is asking, what is the best way to start in the streaming industry?
I think first you should look at what platforms you can use for streaming. You have Twitch, you have YouTube, and TikTok. And it depends on what content you want to do. If you want to do gaming, I think Twitch or YouTube are the best choice. On TikTok, at least in my country, gaming is not really that popular. People usually do just chatting and stuff like that. But if you want to do gaming, you should pick between Twitch and YouTube. And again, I think it depends on the country, but in Romania, on Twitch, there might be a more mature community. On YouTube, there are more children, so it might be more successful if you want to play Minecraft or Roblox or games that are very popular between children. And if you want to do that content, then maybe you should pick YouTube. But if you want more mature content and games and discussions, because I think this is also important, how do you feel in your streaming experience? Because sometimes numbers don't really matter that much. You should, because if you're not happy and if you're not engaged and if you do not enjoy what you're doing and the people that you communicate to, it will it will be visible and people will feel that. And it will also damage your your image as a streamer and how you feel overall with your experience. So you should maybe engage a bit with streamers first as a viewer on each platform and see how how their communities, how their experiences, how they are behaving. Because first I started as a viewer, I watched streamers since I was little, and I already have that experience and I really enjoyed it, and I could already knew what kind of streamer I would like to be because I had that experience as a viewer. I hope it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Also, I think, especially when you're starting, like either being part of a community or a team or whatever the name you're putting is very helpful. I think one of the quickest way to grow is like this hosting or raiding. It's usually very useful. Also, when it comes to like getting more channels, do you recommend doing multi-streaming like in Twitch, YouTube, or Twitch Kick? And you think it's Twitch, Facebook, or it depends on the country, right? But do you think it's a good choice, or you prefer to stick just to one live streaming platform? What's your recommendation on that?
I think it can work. At the moment, I'm also doing multi streaming on Twitch and YouTube. And I can't say it's bad, but it's not good either. I don't really have many people on YouTube because most of them are on Twitch. But if I would switch, for example, 100% from Twitch on YouTube, I would have higher numbers on YouTube as well. And this might give me more chances to also grow on YouTube as a live streamer. So I think you can, it is something that you can try and test for yourself, but I think usually it's best to do it on one platform because your community will be just in one place and you will have higher numbers there. I think it's better to have 100 viewers than 50 and 50 on two platforms. But it might help with exposure, but I'm not sure if it's really that helpful in the long run.
Awesome. Well, we're at the end of the program. I don't know if you have any last words, anything else you want to say to the people hearing you today, either
Um,
for streamers or brands looking to work with the streamers.
well, I think my big advice that I think I already mentioned is to stay true to your values and to enjoy what you are doing. I think this is the most important because money might come and go, but what is really important is to enjoy the process and to do what you like.
Awesome. Well, Sandra, thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure having you on the
Thank you.
first episode. And yeah, we will do another one next week. So thank you all people watching also. Have a great afternoon there, right?
Yes. Have a nice day.